I think belief systems around relationships are really important too. And one of the things I noticed over the past 3 years, I started to believe that men are liars. Men are dangerous. You should be afraid of them. You should be cautious around them. So I had to change my belief around that. And I made the decision to believe that men are inherently good. As a woman, I didn't even realize that men felt like they weren't respected.
As a man, if you don't bring value, no one cares about you. It's tough, but it's the truth. Like, if you look at it, just look at the stats, look at life.
It's not about like finding your ideal man. It's about building your ideal relationship with someone.
We can't expect someone who can't love themselves to love us the way we would like, right?
A lot of people need to hear that message. Today on the podcast, I am so excited to have Eric Bigger here again, and we are going to have a discussion about something that seems to be coming up a lot. It's coming up a lot in your life and people that you're speaking to. And I know that this podcast is about manifestation, you know, a manifested podcast with Kathleen and Cameron. And so one of the things that everybody wants to manifest is the love of their life, or they want to manifest their dream man or their dream relationship. So today we're going to talk a little bit about relationships, maybe some attachment styles, love, all those types of things. And it's beautiful because it's a man and a woman talking about it. And when I met you, you were single and I was newly single. And we've gone through some of these things together in the past 2.5 years as well. So happy to have you back and chat about this.
Yes. Do you remember the first question you ever asked me about dating?
No.
When you got out of your, what was it post-divorce? Maybe like 8 months.
I was already 6 months separated from my marriage when I met you.
So you were saying, Eric, what does it feel like to be alone? And I was just like, oh.
I remember that now.
You remember you were on the treadmill. I'm like, well, it depends on if you're lonely being by yourself or you're not. I don't know what I said, but you made me think. And I said, why do you ask the question? And I guess you was trying to like figure out, I don't know if you were trying to figure out your attachment styles, what you were trying to call in, but you're like, I think I need to just figure out this single life, being by myself.
Yeah.
And so to people who don't know, I've been single for a long time and I've been in the dating world. I've been on dating shows. Mm-hmm. So I have a lot of data on what's really out here. And I always tell people the grass is not always greener.
It's experience.
Yeah. So there's a lot of patterns that I see within men and women, and people who've been in relationships for a long time. They didn't get the opportunity and the advantage that I had being single to work on themselves.
Yeah.
So therefore, they don't have the ammo or the information or the awareness of self to actually really know who they are without someone.
That's where that question came from, because what I noticed about you was that you'd been single for a long time and you were very content being alone. Like you never had this energy on you of, I'm trying to find a woman, I need a woman, I can't be alone. Like you had this independent energy of, I am happy with my life, I'm happy with being alone. And if somebody comes in, amazing, but it was a detached energy.
Yeah.
And so if you look at what my life experience had been, I went from living with my parents to going to university. And the 4 years that I was in university, I lived with friends, girlfriends, in residence or in a house, to then moving back in with my parents and then moving in with Chris and getting married and having babies. So I'd never lived alone. Okay. So never once lived alone. And I was 40 years old when Chris and I separated. I never lived by myself, and my life was full of always having people around me, kids, husband, family members. So when Chris and I separated and I went to the experience of, okay, now I have the girls for a week, and then for a week I'm living alone. Then I have the girls for a week and then a week alone. And I was noticing this overwhelming sense of loneliness. I felt so lonely. And so I was observing you not being lonely. And, and it was like, okay, lonely doesn't have to be my experience. So I wanted to hear from you what that was like, how you nurtured that and created that. And the version of me that wanted to escape from the loneliness wanted to go date and get out there and like, let's find somebody to fill the void of my life. But I knew that wasn't the solution. The solution was actually for me to spend time with myself.
Yeah, I think when I was around people growing up, I felt lonely because I felt like I didn't connect to anybody. I felt I was different. I felt like I didn't fit in. The interesting thing about life, right? It's like, it's so good that it can be bad. You know how someone who doesn't go to college and graduate, and they just get a high school or GED, whatever. They feel like they got to work 10 times harder to make money to just fulfill that they didn't go to college.
Yeah.
So I went to
It's
college.
a flaw in the consciousness, but
So I had that about relationships. Because I haven't been in long-term relationships or allowed myself to date and open up, I went very hard and intense into working on myself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because I don't want to be alone, right? But because I experienced so much of that in my life, my childhood, because I've always been a leader, I always was different, but I knew what I didn't want and I knew what I did want. So I was willing to put in the work. What happened was when people would come into my life, when I'm dating, first half was I was afraid to receive love. So anytime someone got close, my end game was so good. I knew how to get out of it. It was always 6 months. There was a pattern. Every time I'm dating someone for 6 months, I'm escaping. And then it got to a point when I wanted the relationship, it wouldn't work out. But the consistent thing that I've always heard since I was in high school, most women say, you're different, you're different, you're different, you're different, you're different, you're different, you're different. So I'm like, okay, I want to have fun. I want to enjoy life. So then I start thinking like, maybe I'm just too much for someone. Maybe I don't have no one out there who can match my energy. So that was my thinking and that was my story because I kept getting the same feedback. And then I'm like, no, but you are different. And this is how, right?
Yeah.
But over time, I realized I needed to work on myself because I was so wounded. I went through life not receiving love. Like that wounded, like I don't know how to open up, but I know how to give. And so in those moments that we met, I was just so used to being alone and also was growing my life. I was expanding my consciousness, expanding my vessel. So my life was changing. So it wasn't like I was staying the same person. I've been on TV and traveled the world. I'm doing all these different things. My dreams are coming true. I'm on dating shows. So I'm like, okay, here we are. And then over time, I realized like everybody wants love, but some people need to be alone because I can't say if you're never not alone, you can't get through life. You would never know who you are if you didn't have people around. And so my challenge is still to this day, and I'm still working through, is like being around people for a long period of time. Because my Sagittarius moon, I want to get out of there. I want to escape, right? Because I need my space, but also because I'm very spiritual. And so I need time to connect and go inward. And so I always challenge people. I'm like, I'm not saying you shouldn't live with your person, but sometimes that messes up relationships, right? If you're having so much time together, you're not allowing yourself to grow on your own. But it's beautiful because we're mirrors, right? Yep. I get to learn from you, you get to learn from me. But I think the biggest thing is the best relationship is the relationship you have with yourself.
Oh, the most important.
Yeah.
And I think when you truly understand yourself and you understand who you are, it becomes less about trying to fix other people or change the way people are treating you. And it actually becomes a way of calling in a new experience into your life. I look at the type of people 3 years ago. I've been separated now 3 years. So the type of people that I would call into my experience and go on dates with are very, very different from the type of person that I call into my experience today. And I think that'll only improve over time, the more personal growth and development that I do. But you said something really, really interesting about receiving love. Yeah. And I've noticed a shift in you. Recently. And what do you think that is for somebody that isn't okay with receiving? So receiving makes you uncomfortable, right? Like I've gotten very, very comfortable with receiving. I've chose to say, thank you. I will receive that and listen to it, hear it, and let it come in. But there's a lot of people where as soon as a compliment comes at them or a kind word or an I love you, they go like this, like, or look away, don't want to talk about it. So how did you let yourself be more open to receive that?
Well, that's a great question because so much comes up. I think it was the first time after my year of 2023, and I went through the breakup and separation of people that, I once loved and cared for deeply. I realized like, oh, I gotta really love me. I wasn't loving me in those situations like I thought I was. And so I went on this self-discovery journey because I thought I was healed and I evolved, and no, I didn't, right? And I was blocked, like my heart chakra was blocked. Like I couldn't receive love in a healthy way because I wasn't loving myself in a healthy way. I only loved myself if I could do for you, if I could help you, or if I was achieving something.
That's not unconditional love, is it?
Right.
Yeah.
So I realized like, oh, look at you, Eric. Come on, Mr. Positivity. If you're not winning, accomplishing, doing, or giving, you don't love yourself. So I had to really sit with that and really like, what is this about? I was like, oh, you don't want to disappoint people. Oh, you don't want to fail in front of people. You don't want to be embarrassed. You don't want to make mistakes. Oh, so that's when Joshua Tree, I did the cacao. Then I went to Peru, and Peru really it really cleared me. I could feel like the pain like gone. And I don't know if I ever shared this, but at one point in 2023, going into 2024, like at the end, I would feel my heart. I'm like, man, I feel like my heart is like broken. Like it was like lit, like I was afraid. I'm like, I can't tell nobody this because I don't want nobody to worry. Like it was hurting. And then after the cacao ceremony, I just felt like I was drinking some of it, and I woke up out of whatever I was meditating on, and I had like tears in my eyes because I'm like, it's okay for me to trust. And it felt like the medicine like healed my heart. And then Peru just opened it up. And then when I got off the mountain into plant medicine, I was able to really receive love, not just any love, healthy love.
Yeah.
Right? Where it doesn't make me uncomfortable. I'm not resisting it. It feels nice. It feels genuine. I don't feel like no one's love bombing me. And I'm like, oh, this is what healthy love looks like. Granted, I grew up seeing a lot of toxic love, right?
Yeah.
And relationships. So that was my paradigm unconsciously. But I really contribute like the intentions to want to be better and heal the heart. But coming from that and clearing my heart, now I'm like, oh, that feels good to receive that hug. And really the intimacy is what changed. Yep. I'm not afraid to be intimate.
And vulnerable too, because for you over your life, there's been this experience of, well, I have to be a man. I have to be strong. I can't show too much emotion. I have to provide and take care. And you are very much someone that likes to take care of people. That's in your nature. So for you to even sit now today and talk about how you cried and all the work you've done and how your heart is open, that's something that a lot of men would not be comfortable doing or saying.
Yeah.
And so I actually think that there's so much strength in a man becoming vulnerable and a man allowing himself to tap into his emotions and intimacy. And that's what we talk about in Diamond Academy. We have a men's embodiment session, and one of the curriculum topics is how to tap into the divine masculine, not the toxic masculine, the ego-driven masculine that says, be strong, never cry, but truly like tap into your emotions and your feelings and spirit, that divine masculine. And so how do you think, like the personal growth and development, you think was a shift to let you to be able to do that?
Yeah, and I think my higher self. Like I knew when it came to like the TV world and things I've accomplished, like I was done with that stage of my life. I needed something greater. And so for me to go greater, I had to go through this dark night of the soul, this ego death, to expand my mind, expand my vessel to say, look, this is where you need to be. I know it's uncomfortable, but trust me, I got something on the other side of this. But you got to be willing to do the work, right? And so with that, I realized like, oh, divine masculine is the man who's in his heart and in his mind at the same time, and he's nurturing. And he does care about life, and he does care about others, and he wants to provide, but he's also providing for himself emotionally. And he is vulnerable in a healthy way. So for me, I always want to be the embodiment of what I'm giving. I just don't want to talk it. I want to live it. And sometimes these moments are uncomfortable when you got to get vulnerable, with your woman, or you got to talk about shame. Like as men, we have so much shame about a lot of things that the world don't know about. So for me, I just want to get in a space in life where I'm so confident and so embodied in it. Like it doesn't matter what comes out of my mouth, but you can feel the authenticity. You can feel the divine masculine and divine feminine within. And you say, you know what? I want some of that, or I want to be like that, or I want to learn that way, because I know God has chosen me to be a role model in a way that I didn't even know. But today I see it. So I just want to be good for me, but also the other men out there, because when you have true femininity in your life and true love, it's magical.
Yeah.
It feels great to have.
It's a very powerful manifestation energy too.
Yeah.
I've taught in my house of manifestation too about the perpetual transmutation of sexual energy and intimacy and relationships and the power of a loving relationship in your life. And when two beautiful souls come together to build and to grow together, it's very, very magical and very, very beautiful. I think belief systems around relationships are really important too. And one of the things I noticed over the past 3 years was that I started to believe that men are liars or inauthentic or aren't truthful and honest, because I had experienced that in the past 3 years. And so when you experience something once, twice, you then start to believe, okay, is this how they all are? Is this what's going on? So as I was entering into a new relationship in my life, I noticed that I couldn't trust this person. And this person had never shown me that they couldn't be trusted, but that I was believing that all men could now not be trusted. So I had to change my belief around that. And I made the decision to believe that men are inherently good, that men are phenomenal and amazing, and that I love them. And I truly, to this day, I look at all the men in my life, the men that I've met over the years and the people that are close to me now. And I truly believe that men are phenomenal, powerful, incredible providers. And I would love one day to have a man next to me, I call like my king, somebody next to me to build the empire with me, type of thing. But I had to change my beliefs, because I'm never going to call that in if I don't believe it's there, and I don't believe it's possible, and I don't believe that it's real. And I was expressing this on a millionaire call. And I had, there was like 180 people on the millionaire call, and like 6 of them were men, because I have a lot of women obviously learning about manifestation from me. And I got this message from one of the millionaire students, a male in the program. And I was expressing my beliefs about men and how amazing they are and phenomenal and how great I think they are. Honest and trustworthy in these things. And he sent me a message that brought him to tears, because the message that he's heard in his life is that men are dangerous. You should be afraid of them. You should be cautious around them, that they're dishonest. They lack, trustworthiness and all these things. And so for him to hear a woman stand up there and say how much she believes in men and how much she loves them and how incredible they are, it literally brought him to tears. So I think there's something to be said too for men as well, to pay attention to that type of narrative too. And like, as a woman, I didn't even realize that men felt like they weren't respected.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I've never heard that before.
At the end of the day, I know it might sound odd or it might trigger some people, but as a man, if you don't bring value, no one cares about you. And it's tough, but it's the truth. Like, if you look at it, just look at the stats, look at life. Like, who are you? What do you do? Why are you here? What are you doing for me now? And I think that's the hard part. And I've been blessed in this lifetime to have features and height and opportunity that others might not have, right? So they got to work a little different, a little harder. So that's one true reality in the stratosphere somewhat, right? Doesn't mean it's a story as well, but it's somewhat true. But then there's a part of we don't feel safe expressing how we feel because we're judged, right? There's been times where I done cried, I done gave people what I'm going through, and they're like, oh, wow, that's heavy. They don't know what to do with it. They're like, you went through that? Yeah, I went through that. So it's really like you have to have discernment on who to share your truth and vulnerability with, because some people don't know how to nurture it, because if they never experience it, or they're like, oh, you'll be fine. Be strong. It's like, I want to be strong right now. I want to be weak.
Yeah.
Can you accept me in my weakness? But it's hard when you're not getting edified for how you really feel and no one cares. Man, back to life. You'll be good. Wipe your tears, so that's the thing. And then another layer of life with relationships is we can't expect someone who can't love themselves to love us the way we would like, right?
A lot of people need to hear that message, because there's a lot of people that are in relationships that aren't getting what they want from the relationship. Yeah. But what's actually happening, it's an unmet expectation, but what's actually happening is they're not aware of the wounding that is showing up in that person. Like, that person isn't giving you the love that you desire because they don't have the capacity to, because they've never learned how to. Yeah. Right. And so I heard this the other day, maybe a few weeks ago, and I sent you a reel. It was on a podcast. It might have been Mel Robbins or something. I can't remember, but it said something along the lines like, it's not about like finding your ideal man. It's about building your ideal relationship with someone. And that personal growth and development, when two people come together and they're willing to grow and to heal the wounding together, this is where we step into it. And that's where I expect a relationship to get to. Not that I'm going to find it there the minute I meet him, but that it's going to get to that place.
Yeah.
We were talking about this new thing that's happening where women are now in this, I don't need a man energy.
Yeah.
And I'll take care of myself. And we have women now that are tapping into this feeling of like, okay, well, I'm going to be single and I'm going to take care of myself and I don't need for this. Where do you think that comes from?
Well, the collective consciousness is changing. You know, women got the power now. It's in their hands. And like men, we got to empower our hearts and our emotions. And it's very uncomfortable. The way women had to empower themselves when they didn't have the power financially or just CEO energy. And I think it's a disconnect from the masculine and feminine genders because we need to come together because we love each other, right? And we should want to, but if a person is making a certain amount of money and they feel like, I don't need you anyway, because I'm like, okay, keep doing that. 3 years, 4 years, you're going to want some love. Man or woman.
But notice the difference in the language you said. So you were talking about a woman needing a man versus a woman wanting a man.
Yeah.
Right? So for me in my life, I am not at a place where I need a man. I don't. I've built my business. I'm very, very successful financially. In terms of my health and everything, I travel alone. It is not a need in my life for a man, but I'm okay with wanting a man in my life.
Yes. I think that's the part where people hide because listen, like I said, I've been single for a long time. I used to be like, I'm good. I'm good. I know the energy. I lived it.
Yeah.
Okay. Keep going. You're good. But it's wounded energy because of what you're not getting, right? It's easy to justify something when you don't have it, right? And to make a story around it, to make it sound good. No, not because I get it. Not because if you're single doesn't mean like you're not lovable, you can't have a relationship. I was dating women who couldn't match who I was because I was doing so much work. My fear in every relationship, I'm gonna outgrow the person. I'm growing. A lot of people not willing to grow the way I'm willing to grow, so I might subconsciously leave them. But I think the true reality of it is that everybody wants love in some form. We need each other. I think social media has allowed us to disconnect and we're not vulnerable and intimate with one another. No, I was telling you and Anna last night, we don't need to go to dinner. I want to be right here. I barely see you in person.
I know. It was so beautiful.
So it was like, that was more empowering for me because I've always seen you guys on Zoom and social media. But I think the biggest thing is that, yes, there is men and women that like, I'm good. Then there's men who have this and I like the guy, but Andrew Tate, if you come across his interview, I get you, I understand you, but a part of his energy feels like it's from someone broke him. Like he was heartbroken from a woman, right? Or life. It feels that way. I don't think he's a bad guy, but I think I can feel that when he talks because I listen to a lot of his stuff sometimes when it's come to be a man and be confident and if I'm working out. However, a lot of that is wounded energy. And I think when we go through these very devastating experiences, we make that our identity. And if we don't, it comes through our identity.
Yeah.
And so that's really what I was saying is that it's not that, yes, you are good, we are good, you are good, but come from a place of real love and not like I'm good because I'm not getting love or I can't find it or this guy is this or this woman is that. Because then we got to look at ourselves. It takes two. Yeah. If I'm attracting you, what do I need to learn from this and what do I need to work on? Oh,
everything's a reflection. Marianne Williamson in Return to Love. Yeah. There's a chapter on relationships where she talks about love is assignments.
Yeah.
And this is the thing is that the relationship that you are in, and if it is causing you any sort of uncomfort, discomfort, and it is triggering you or activating you, it's an opportunity for you to heal. It's just showing you the parts of yourself that can have healing. And so any relationship that I'm in, the one that I'm in right now, I'm learning the most about myself right now. And as long as I'm still learning and as long as I'm still growing, it's productive and it's helpful and it's a good thing in my life. And so sometimes I think we want to manifest a perfect relationship when we have two individuals with two different consciousnesses, two different belief systems, two different lenses that we see the world through. And it's just not going to be that way. But if we have two individuals that are growing, that are awake, aware, that are willing to look at themselves and go within, I think that's where a beautiful relationship can be built.
And, I also, not only that, I think we're coming from different phases in our life. Like my story before the partnership I'm in now was like, there's no spiritual women. There's no spiritual women. That's all I kept saying.
Yeah.
Right? And then I go on a journey, self-discovery. I call it the hero's journey. And I'm like, oh, all these spiritual women. Because I allowed myself to see them, because I had to open up myself more to receive that.
Yeah.
But I thought I was at a conscious level that I could, and I wasn't.
No, you'll only be open to receive what you believe is available to you.
Right.
If you don't believe in it, it won't show up there. So what is a productive belief? That you're drowning in spiritual women.
And I would tell people, listen, there is somebody out there for you. And I always say, whatever you believe is true. So, yeah.
Somebody or several somebodies. I mean, for the course of your lifetime.
No, but I'm just saying, like, I think I live in LA. It's nice out here. People don't get the opportunity to be out as much on the East Coast, right? Where it's cold. So some people, it's hard, right? They give up on love. They give up on finding a partner. I understand that. I've been alone. I'm like, I just want to cuddle. I want some love, man. I don't want to keep being on these dating apps. It's work.
Yeah.
So,
I know.
you know, I don't want people to have a negative connotation or anything. I just want people to really think about what's coming through and where is it coming from. It's not a life thing, it's a you thing.
Yeah.
It's coming from your soul. So
yeah, I love that. I hope that you found this episode on relationships helpful and beneficial, and that you've learned a lot of things. If we've triggered you or activated you in some way, it's an opportunity to go within and ask yourself, what's the belief that I currently have, and how can I move it and shift it? And I hope that you all are calling in beautiful relationships into your life, and that you're seeing improvement in all the ones that you are currently in your life. And remember, even with relationships, the limit does not exist.